Ah, hit the button. Yep, making a video. So I thought I would talk a little bit about language, since it was Professor Anton brought it up, and vocabulary and ways of communicating, I guess. And I don't see it as being as mystical or as magical as Professor Anton does. Clearly, I think there's ways that organisms, it became useful for organisms, especially conscious ones. They communicate with each other. It happens all the time. We see animals communicating. We don't really understand the visual mechanisms or sound, but they use sound and visuals to organize their attacks, like wolves or lions or other kinds of animals. Find visual signals. Even the prey animals. One animal reacts and everybody else reacts, and somehow they know what reaction is a run like hell reaction, and what reaction is a pay attention reaction. They do have that everybody be quiet reaction, and they have the just get the fuck out of here reaction. So they are communicating information to each other. And so for humans that got more and more complex, and I think it started off with just clicking sounds, whatever the thing was, but 2 clicks meant this, 3 clicks meant that, blah blah blah, some kind of bullshit like that. And eventually it became bullshit. It became different kinds of reactions. So you can sort of see that even in the facial expressions of most of the primates are kind of complex. There's lots said in how the face expresses, and so that was probably part of communication, was maybe a sound with the face that went with it, or some other thing. And well, regardless, we became more and more. We added words. We added signals that meant more and more things. And I guess to me there's a point, in this vocabulary development, and I keep calling it like the Helen Keller moment, where you acquire enough words where you can start creating a real, not just a like a visceral model of reality, where we all have that kind of visceral one, where we're living. I'm obviously in weather, it's cold, and there's sensations, and I have a personal interior that's in this exterior, and all that has a knownness to me. I know these feelings. I know this world I'm in. I know the path through it. I know these are my references. But there's a point where, we start labeling the things in this world. And so now we have the concept of snow, the concept of rubbish or trees or whatever you want to say this is. Obstacles, dangerous stepping points, prickers, and we can label all this stuff and now build a model that is in a different location. It's not in some sort of visual memory alone. It's almost in a math center in our brain, where these things are added up in terms of their meaning and their significance to each other, and then our brain feeds us memories that are relevant to the mixtures that it's referenced. So it'll see the downed tree and it'll do things that might not be coherent. Like my brain just thought of fire truck. Now, you don't see any direct connection to fire truck here, right? But I guess it was just the idea of the downed trees. The brain worked on that, associated maybe with leaves and brush fires or something. Maybe the weeds back there. There was a lot of weeds growing. And so my brain associated the tall grass and the trees, and came up with like brush fire or something like that. And so then fire truck popped into my head. So now our brain is doing that with language. It's calling things, it's taking things as for what they are, their properties, okay? All this crap has properties. It's putting a label on it, a category designation: snow, rocks, leaves, pathway. They're all in categories. And those categories are representations that have an identity in our knowledge base. And it has these associations and connections, and the brain just, through an algorithm, through a process, a bit of software manipulation, it finds relationships, and it finds ones that are maybe incredibly subtle, like a 2% association here and a 4% association there, and it adds those up and comes up with a 8% and says, okay, 8% is good enough. So if it was only a 2% association or less or something, then it would ignore it and say, nothing to see here. Nice. Yeah, dangerous. See, the crooked ones are the ones that kill you. Gotta be careful on those. Anyway. Yeah, so it has its own triggers for what it throws together, and it does throw something together. It takes its whole mass of your life experience, essentially. It filters through it, like Google takes a piece of the internet and plays with it for your search results, which is not the best way to search the internet, frankly, and does it very quickly, which is sloppy, because all you people are whores for expedience over quality. But anyway, I want to get into that subject, because that's a whole nother, the lie of Google searching the internet. Anyway, it searches a database. But anyway, your brain has that too. It has a database. It has a shorthand. And it plays with the shorthand first. And then if you remain unresolved, confused, irritated, disturbed, like, why is that rock got that mark on it? Is somebody piss on it or something? What is that? Why is that one different than the other rocks? My brain will work on that. And so then it goes to other, deeper databases. And that's what happens when you think. You're not thinking for no reason. And it doesn't take time for no reason. It takes time because your brain's got a ton of shit in there. And it's got it all compacted. It's all in compressed formats. And it's got to uncompress the old memories to look through them. It's a lot slower when it's doing a deeper search, and it's a whole different kind of search it's doing than the stuff that you're playing with in the recent months or recent weeks or recent years. That stuff will be a lot more accessible in terms of your perception. So anyway, the part I really wanted to get to in this video was more about focusing on the really important part here, which is the idea of this, properties and categories, and that categories become a property. So when you start to create categories, man wearing gloves, you can put yourself in these categories, and now your one of your properties becomes being a member of that category, and that's essentially what we attempt to do with vocabulary. That's the whole function of what we call this literacy thing, is having language that has really nicely defined categories for the definition of a word. A word has a definition. The definition is concise, which means I'll tell you what it means, just so we're accurate and concise in our conversation. That concise means that it has a perfect combination, or the best combination of expedience, briefness, but completeness. So you want something that says all that needs to be said, says it well, says it expediently and efficiently. So efficient would be a category that concise would be in. It's one of those efficiency concepts. It goes in the efficiency category. So anyway, but the point is that's what we're attempting to do, is create a full and rich language, but keep it very useful and accurate. You don't want to put kangaroos in the deer category, even though, they're probably long ago relatives. Hey, shithead, why aren't you playing with the other bozos? Yeah, you too, fuckhead. I see you there. You're not hiding. You think you're hiding? You're not hiding. See, they're running, and he's not. So no signals from him. They're not really talking to each other. Anyway, I haven't seen as many deers. They must all be over here playing in the fields. Anyway, lots of little ones there. Not real little, first yearers, first graders. Anyway, mommy's gonna get shot soon. All the Bambi killers will be out. Yes, the evil man is coming. Man, to destroy your brutal, horrible winter life. Yeah, well, I'll be doing them a favor. Anyway, they wouldn't be looking at me if they had something to eat, right? Anyway, yeah, we're still there. So I'm not being very concise in my conversation here. Very efficient. But really, this is all there is to this thing. Is now that we have a language, we have vocabulary, we can build a complete model, a model that has the labels in it, that has things marked, and where it's almost interactive now for your brain. Where the primitive man, it was a dead map. Now your map is interactive. You can click things on it, you can press things on it, and shit happens. Whoa, the labels get big, and it says this is what this means, this is what this is. In 1947 this happened, in 1776 this happened. Try to kill me. It didn't entirely work, because I'm apparently not dead. Yeah, this weather is so bad. It's going to get worse. We're going to have all this snow, and it's going to be many zillions degrees below zero Celsius. It's going to be brutal. It's awful. I mean, it's awful. This is the crappiest fucking winter so far. Just miserable. It's just started. I'll get through it. How am I going to do it? Anyway, see, I can see that. I can see my future, my doom. Oh, the horror. The horror. Anyway, so yeah, we have, the vocabulary has given us an interactive map where, our brain now has volumes of information tied to everything. Much richer, and that's the difference between us and them, is merely the fact that we have the vocabulary. They had the brain, they just didn't have the vocabulary. And people keep talking, well, I don't want to get into an argument about brain size, but it's not about brain size. The difference in the human brain is not the size of it, it's the way it's used. All simians have big brains. Most mammals, have, killer whales have a big head. birth is difficult for them too. So they got a big head. Any animal that has to do any thinking, it's got a pretty good sized brain, and you can't cheat on that in terms of, when you're doing the grow your own inside your body thing. Clearly some animals have found solutions, like kangaroos. They just give birth to a little worm. The little worm squirrels up to the pouch. So that certainly does economize against the negatives, of doing this internal thing and trying to get the external out. But clearly, if it was necessary to our actual survivability, the birth wouldn't be quite as horrendous as it is. But that just demonstrates how cruel nature is. Nature just doesn't care about a woman's pain. It just cares that a certain number of them survive the process. And as long as that number's achieved, it's not going to do a whole lot of the experiments of doing it better aren't going to be rewarded much, because the game is really creating the thing, and as long as there's somebody else to take care of it, nature's not going to care at all if it kills the mother. Often it just doesn't. That's how cruel it all is. So anyway, that's a whole separate subject and such. So, till the next time. Oh, God. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to earn my keep. Anyway, until next time. Yes, isn't that unfortunate? So anyway, it's kind of, Christmas. Can't really see the other lights. That's all very nice work. Thank you very much. Alright, so where were we? I gotta put my gloves back on. The weather's horrible. I probably will die. Slip and fall and bash my brain in. What's left of it. But it's probably the way to go, right? Theoretically. Quick. Quick is good. I mean, you hate to admit that. I mean, I hate to admit that. But, the people we think, got it bad are usually the people that got it pretty good. It's like those 9/11ers. Even the ones that had to jump out of the building. I mean, come on. 5 minutes of horror. Well, it's probably a little longer than that, the panic and all. Compared to nursing homes and, surgeries and all kinds of other crap. Come on. Sometimes surviving just isn't the way to go. My perspective, anyway. So, something else. So, words. I guess there's more I could say, right? I might as well. I mean, I'm here. I have to walk, and it's kind of dismal. So it'd be nice to have somebody to talk to, even if it is you. Yeah, it's kind of funny that my boots left these little clumps of snow. They're still there.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Happy New Year.
Yeah, well, watch your step.
Yep.
Yeah. This old guy. Crazy old fuck. I mean, really, they should have him in a cage. I wouldn't let no freaking old fart like that out in this shit. I mean, this is shit. I'm telling you, this is the real shit. Whoa! I mean, that shit. This is shit. You see how that is shit? That is totally shit. Look, that's shit there. Oh, he didn't come from there. All right. Yeah. All right. He walked. I don't know what the fuck he did. Maybe he's Santa Claus. He's just out for a walk. He did have a beard. And he was old. I don't know. Well, whatever. Yeah, he didn't walk on that shit. Shouldn't be out in this weather, though. Crazy old fucker. Oh, fucking A. No way. This is not doable. All right, here, I saved it. I saved it, save. I get the save, right? Okay. Whew. Be careful, I'll pull something. Ow, I think I did pull something. Yeah. Alright, anyway. See, I can say something. I pulled something. And, you know, the different people say different things. But some people get it, like, oh yeah, pulled the groin. Yeah, so that was the primary reference, probably. But there's other things you can pull. And even pull the groin on its face. Yeah, that might confuse an alien. I mean, if an alien came down here and you're trying to make these distinctions, what, you pulled down your groin? I thought you had to do that in private. Or mostly. Anyway. See, but that's the problem with vocabulary. So we do have sloppy uses. Sloppy word combinations. We have a lot of urban language. See, look at this. This is so cold that even your footprints don't go away. I mean, the snow that falls out of your boot, you know, the compressed snow, it's still there. I mean, that doesn't happen most of the time. That stuff melts. Mostly, I think. Well, maybe it's not snowing. I mean, it's snowing lightly, so it didn't get covered up. I don't know, just not too many times did you see that. I don't recall seeing the, whatever you call that, the chum out of my boot treads. The chum. That's another word that can just get you in trouble. So yeah, we have words that are, you know, each you know, there's lots of countries, lots of different languages, you know, some based on Latin or Greek or some other kind of old stuff. And, you know, they just turned into mush because of lazy usage. You know, the commoners, you know, unfortunately, the commoners, you know, just beat the hell out of words because they get lazy, you know, they're lazy. It's just truth, that's all. People like to say things as easily and quickly as possible, so they come up with a bunch of slang, and you know, the slang becomes the word, and sometimes that just screws it all up. I mean, there was a certain rationality to the Latin, you know, the idea of having words that were made out of words. You know, that's hydraulic or something. You know, this idea of having you know, pieces of the word that would give it away would be actually the definition in kind of a shorthand. So we're back to the shorthand thing, and you know, there's I guess you could argue that all language is kind of unengineered. You know, it lacks deliberate creation. It does kind of just flow into use and popularity. But and there's definitely, you could argue, mechanical structures in language that would probably be useful. Maybe the idea of nouns and verbs and you know, things that adjectives, adverbs, all that kind of crap. Certainly an independence from spoken emphasis would be very useful. You know, changing the meaning of a word based on whether or not you pronounce some sort of silent I or something is kind of silly. You know, you can find lots of words that are broken in, like, you know, there, over there versus there in their pocket and that kind of crap. I mean, who needs that confusion? That would be weeded out pretty quickly by anybody doing this on purpose, saying, let's come up with a way of exchanging our understandings, you know, some sort of structure, the reliable, durable, it doesn't create confusion. Yeah, it seems kind of like a good idea not to, you know, have words that are too identical, too close to each other. Create, well, like I said, the spoken word, there is no spelling, so there and thar. Yeah, maybe that's it. Over thar. So it should be said over thar. And then you could say it was theirs to know. No, that's not it. I'm too tired. Yeah, that was right. Yeah. So anyway, alright, this wasn't terribly useful as an add-on, but you know, it's rough out here. I just don't, I can feel better than this. I've never felt very good. You know, my whole life I've been kind of angsty and had kind of like a permanent upset stomach. So I've always felt like shit. The last year or two, so I just been feeling like shit a lot. It just makes it so much more difficult when you feel like shit. So anyway, I've been trying some things, but nothing seems to be fixing it. So I throw that in there. I really could be, I think, amazingly productive. I could just feel a little better because I'm highly motivated, and yeah, there's just so much of my time I have to just spend going, feeling shit. yeah, just kills a lot of time doing that. Anyway, a deer was walking down this path. It went one way and then turned around here, I think. Yeah, it turned around right here. See, right here, it went that away. At least that's what it looks like. No deer prints here, so that must be what happened. You still there? Yeah, I guess you are. Oh, the battery's almost out. Okay. Oh, yeah, I was testing these batteries. Guess they're not as durable as they need to be. But it's okay. There's something. Yeah, my rechargeable's getting old. It's okay. Gotten good use out of them. Probably got my 1,000 videos out of the batteries, whatever it is. So anyway, but yeah, I still have I have a lot of batteries that are good for a half an hour. You know, half-hour battery isn't too useful for me. But anyway, enough babble, enough talk. Since the batteries are going dead, I will surrender. I did probably make it through the worst part of this, so I probably won't get killed. Yeah, entirely. Probably. Words though, yeah. So anyway, language and words and communication, we really should be able to do it better. And the smart people really should be able to do it, where, you know, we're all smart enough to know what words not to use, not to get too highfalutin in our vocabulary.